guy back there is going to complain about the name.
Good afternoon. It is now 1:26, and we are going to go into session. The Board of Trustees of the Harris County Department of Education now convened in a board meeting on Wednesday, May 16th in the boardroom at 6300 Irvington Boulevard at 1:26 p.m. I wish to extend a warm welcome to everyone present in this meeting of the Board of Trustees. As trustees, we are here to set goals, listen to reports from the superintendent, approve budgets, contracts, personnel appointments, and make policy for the district. It is not the role of the board to make day-to-day operational decisions. The management and day-to-day operations of the department are the responsibility of the superintendent. We have policies and procedures in place to resolve concerns and issues. This is a public meeting of the Board of Trustees, not a meeting of the public. Prior to this meeting, board members received information related to items on today's agenda. Agenda items will not necessarily be handled in the order listed on the notice. The meeting is open to all who wish to attend and hear the matters discussed. During the course of this meeting, the board may determine that a closed session is necessary. In that event, the board will meet in closed session to consider matters duly posted for this meeting as permitted by sections 551.071 to 551.074, inclusive of the Texas Government Code. I respectfully ask that you please refrain from talking while others are speaking and that cell phones are turned off or in silent mode. Thank you for taking the time to join us for your interest in the Harris County Department of Education. We will have the invocation by Jeanette Wachs. Thank you. Jeanette Wachs for client engagement. I guess you must be Jeanette.
I'm Janet, yes, sir.
Yes, come on in.
You and I met once before.
Yeah.
If everybody's ready, let us pray. Father God, in the name of Jesus, we come to you today with rejoicing and praise, thanking you for this opportunity to work through Harris County Department of Education. You said that you made the whole body fit together perfectly, and as each part does its own special work, it helps the other part grow, so that the whole body is healthy and growing and full of love. That makes each of us the hands and feet of you here on earth to reach out to the little people in Head Start all the way up to the adults in Adult Ed, and all the children in between that come to us and leaders that come for education and training. Father, we thank you for this opportunity, and we give you praise and glory in Jesus' name. Amen.
Lindsay Sanders from Communications and Community Enrichment will lead us in the Texas and the Pledge of Allegiance to the American flag.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
We have a few visitors that are here with us. Danielle Bartz, thank you for coming. Andrea Duhan, where's Andrea? There you go. And then I think we have some people that are going to address the board. Josh Wallenstein, Jonathan Miller, and Danny Norris. Okay, so I guess we will start in the order we called them out. So, Mr. Wallenstein, it's you're up, your turn.
Hi. Okay. So, trustees and Mr. Colbert and Trustee Mike Wolf's empty chair, thank you for your time. You know, it's a once a month meeting. He really should be able to show up on time once a month. I mean, why would you so clearly and transparently indicate your indifference to your elected position by not showing up? In any event, so I'm Josh Wallenstein, and we're in the middle of early voting season for a runoff that's going to determine your candidates for November's board election. And I'm fighting to win this race, and I'm very optimistic, and so I'd like to address the second of my priorities when I join you next year, which is enhanced workforce training. Now, we just heard a wonderful prayer that talked about the wonderful job we do of providing quality and cost-effective services to our children. We're talking about Head Start, we're talking about early Head Start, after-school programs, and a wide variety of other offerings. And as you have noted before, we are also the largest provider of adult training in our state. We do such a great job of empowering and enabling our adult learners that I'm ready to double down. So currently, we offer limited workforce training in areas like pipe fitting and nursing assistance. You can see that on the website. There are resources like unions, for example, that offer paid apprenticeship programs so that folks can learn a well-paid trade while at the same time providing for themselves and their families, earning a living while learning a life trade. Imagine what could be done. Imagine what could be done if we weave HCDE resources with these sorts of opportunities. Why, we'd be training our citizens for jobs that are simultaneously being created for them. And as a county resource, we have got to have our county's workforce in mind. So let's do this. Let's harness our resources with local opportunities and jumpstart success for our citizens in Harris County. Now, I have a few more initiatives and priorities that I'll share with you in the coming months. Of course, if you just can't handle the suspense, you can see them on my website at joshwallenstein.com. And for those of you who do show up to this meeting, thank you very much for your time and for your service to the public.
Just one point. No, we're good, thank you. Just one point. We were here on time. We were in the process of taking care of a meeting that went long and it concerned one of our schools. It's, the construction is upcoming, so. And I did let you know ahead of time. I apologize for us starting late, but we did need to take care of the school. All right, Mr. Miller, you're up next.
Hello, board. My name is Jonathan Miller, and since I'm no longer in the race, I'm going to kind of just freestyle my speech and not have it eloquently written this time. I want to thank everyone that is here today for being here. I would definitely want to put the spotlight on to Trustee Carter for being on the other side of the world and still showing up. I also know that there's several trustees that are running for other races and are in the runoffs. And I'd like to give the spotlight to Diane Trotman that is in the runoff, yet still here, prioritizing this board. I am concerned that Trustee Wolf is not here again. I think it's insulting to this board. I think it's insulting to Harris County. I think it's insulting to his constituents that he would rather make sure that he wins his race over this board when you were talking, you're going to be voting about some very important issues. So I hope that regardless of what happens with Trustee Wolf, I hope if he does not win his race, I would like to urge the board to impeach him for his lack of dedication to this department. Thank you.
And Danny Norris.
Good afternoon. I'd like to thank you for having me. My name is Danny Norris, and I'm also on the ballot in this runoff for the Harris County Department of Education, position 6. I just want to thank everybody, and I'm particularly for those who don't know me. I am my background. I'm an educator. I teach over at the law school at Texas Southern University, and as I'm running, one of the biggest reasons I ran because of not only being a parent, but a need for the quality education in Harris County. And as I've been running, I've heard a lot from the community and the desire for quality education, the desire for a need for a lot of the services that this particular department provides. Now, unfortunately, not a lot of people know about the department. Usually when I mention I'm running, they start asking about HCDE or some of the other school districts around town. So part of the problem, needless to say, part of the problem is we need to make sure that all the work that is done here, all the savings that are provided to the districts and things like that are put in the forefront, particularly now that, particularly post-Harvey, a lot of school districts were affected. My son was out of school for about 4 months. He was out of his building because their high school was affected. But there's a lot of rebuilding phase, and I remember a couple of meetings ago that I know a lot of these services will be used, and I think that I urge that as the department does make a lot of the impact in the community in Harris County, that it is made sure that the community actually knows about it and actually knows that the work that's being done. Because the work is being done. Also, particularly with regards to moving forward, I just think that make sure that everybody, everything that's done, particularly this board is specifically unique because Harris County is where the nation, according to the studies, Harris County is where the nation will be in about the next 30 to 50 years, according to the Kleinberg studies over at Rice. And how we educate our children actually has larger implications for the nation, not just for Harris County. It's great for Harris County and our future as citizens of Harris County, but how our nation will be in the next 30 to 50 years. So how we help education in this county makes a larger impact. So I'm hopeful. I'm looking to be on the board with you soon over the next several years. But regardless of whoever's on that board, I want to make sure that the board knows that the position you're in is unique and has a larger implication. And I look forward to making sure that I do all I can to help make sure that the citizens of Harris County know what you do and continue to help do great things and make them even go further. Thank you very much.
Board, I just want to point out one thing. When we start looking at the reports, the presentations, you'll have to turn around and look back here because since we have Ms. Carter connecting to us from remotely, she will be on that screen at all times. Okay? So with that being said, Superintendent's monthly report.
Thank you, Mr. President. Really 3 categories that I'd like to update everyone on. Yesterday, we had our first ever Teacher of the Year program. Dr. Mays, who is our Senior Executive Director over our special schools, put together a Teacher of the Year program using the matrix that's used actually throughout the state of Texas, which is quite extensive and very rigorous. We had 3 finalists, the first being Suzanne Boyd, who is with our ABS West campus. Second being Gabrielle Gardner, who is with our ABS East campus. Oh, you're letting everybody know I was building up to who won. Who's ever doing the PowerPoint is going too fast. I was working up to that. And so the 2018 Teacher of the Year for Harris County Department of Ed is Joanna Lee. She was able to win a $1,000 check that was sponsored by Edgenuity. Edgenuity is a software company that we use for our curriculum throughout our special schools that is in line with the school districts that we serve. And so we were really excited about that. Even happier that we had a number of fellow staff members who knew they weren't winning $1,000, but coming out to support their colleagues. Next year, we'd like to expand this into our Head Start program, our adult ed program, teaching assistants. We need to have multiple categories for Teachers of the Year. And we're also going to continue to look for corporate sponsors to do matching donations so we can be able to honor our teachers. Our teachers are unique in that the population that we serve can oftentimes be described as beyond at risk. They're outside of that category, and so it takes a tremendous type of person, skill set, character traits to be able to to suppress sympathy and replace that with expectations. And that's something that sometimes our kids don't often see. So very proud of our finalists and certainly proud of Ms. Lee. Other highlights for this month is we had a surprise visit at our 5th Ward Head Start program. Senator Ted Cruz popped up at that community center and just happened to work his way into one of the classrooms where he read the 3 Little Pigs to a group of 5-year-olds who were just jumping for joy, even though they had no clue who it was reading to them. All they knew is there were a lot of people and cameras in the room, and so that made them pretty popular. So that was really cool. We didn't know that was going to happen until probably about 2 hours before it actually happened, so it was a surprise to everyone. Mr. Parker and I had an opportunity to attend the HEB Excellence in Education's award ceremony. HEB's been doing this for 17 years where they give out, now I think they're up to about $500,000 in grants and awards to recipients as far as the best teacher, most outstanding leadership qualities, best administrator, best district, best board. This is throughout the entire state of Texas. There were probably about 1,200 people attending the event. And somehow, Mr. Parker and I were sitting front and center alongside the president of all the HEBs for the whole state of Texas, which was actually a very big honor, especially with the fact that I was able to get him to sell, honey lemonade at my HEB again, because they stopped selling it. My wife loves it. So I got an instant pull from doing that. I mean, within 5 days, they had honey lemonade back in our HEB after he sent one text. So that was really cool. Humble ISD won Outstanding Board for the entire state of Texas for large school districts. So that was a really big accomplishment for them. And I think they had won previous awards where they were Outstanding District previously. Finally, I'd like to remind everybody that our adult education's graduation is Saturday. It'll be on the 5th floor above our parking garage, and it will be from 11 to 1. This is an event that I love to attend every single year. These are people who came back and got their GEDs in spite of life getting in the way. I think that makes them unique, and oftentimes every year we go to this, there's always some very interesting story about our graduates. And so please, if you have an opportunity and you got a couple hours, I think you'd love it. It's from 11 to 1. I think you have a flyer, an invitation at your desk, and so that's all I have for now. Thank you, Mr. President.
Well, I guess the first thing I'd like to say is congratulations for our Teacher of the Year. So very well. Okay, so we need an annual update on the HCDE Communications and Community Enrichment Division. Helen Spencer, Chief Information Officer, will be talking to us.
Good afternoon, President Evans, Board of Trustees. Would you like me to proceed with the update?
Sure.
Okay, great. Okay, first I would like to recognize our team. They would stand. Communications and client engagement. Everything that you see in this presentation today is a product of their hard work. Now, they are led by Stephanie De Los Santos and Tammy Lanier. So I wanted to start with a quote from my favorite podcast, which is This American Life. Great stories happen to those who can tell them. Now, I love this quote so much that I adapted it to our presentation today for this HCDE life. Great stories happen to those who harness the power of digital media. So today I'm going to talk about how we've used digital media to provide systems of support, recruit educators, engage employees, engage our community, and increase awareness of HCDE, which a previous speaker pointed out is an area that we need to continue to work on. And as you probably know, we work in partnership with divisions to help tell their story and meet their business objectives. And although we're a team of 13, each member serves as a liaison to schools, therapy services, adult education, TLC, choice partners, Head Start, CASE, I'm probably leaving someone out, internal divisions, you get the picture. And we also, on top of that, we build and manage systems. These are systems to tell the story of HCDE, and those include branding, and that helps us achieve consistency across all of our channels, web and social media, email marketing, event planning, and media relations. And we all love a good story, but you also need data. And so that's what you see here. This is a look at projects that we've tracked over the past year. And I just want to emphasize these are projects that were initiated by a single division. These don't reflect the total amount of work that we do just elevating the brand for the overall HCDE vision. And so you'll see the range of what we do, from writing and website support to photography, brochures, event planning, event coverage, branding packages. That's a huge one. We did 33 over the past year. So I just wanted to give you a glimpse of that. and also highlight a few accomplishments from client engagement over the past year. They implemented School Messenger, which is a mass notification system that includes phone, email, and text, and we utilized this during the winter weather. We did not have it in place during Harvey, but we would have used it then had we had it. They also rebranded Choice Partners, TLC, and the Center for Safe and Secure Schools, supported multiple conferences, orientations, and training sessions. But today I'm really focusing on digital media, mainly social media. We have seen significant growth in our social media engagement, and we're harnessing that growth in a few key areas. One of those areas is recruitment. We decided to use social media to help publicize Head Start recruitment events, and so the 2 Facebook posts that you see here generated a reach of 46,000 people, 2 Facebook posts. And how do we know it worked? Well, the job fair that happened after that social media blitz resulted in 106 people lined up at Irvington for a job fair, and 25 positions were filled. And I know a lot of this is the effort of Natasha and her team, but we're trying to, build up that effort and get more eyes on it. And I think social media is helping us do that. And we also like to be very data-driven about our decisions, and so we took those success stories and applied it to a current challenge, which is recruitment for our AB and High Point schools. And so these are 2 posts that I think are probably still in the mix right now, and they've already reached 9,000 people and have generated 154 shares, likes, and comments. And another area we support is employee engagement. And it's always smart to put a picture of the HR chief in your PowerPoint. I recommend doing that. We assist in the annual staff convocation, the principal and teacher recognitions that happen throughout the year, board appreciation, employee-focused events throughout the year that are so important to our human capital, which is really our strength. And you would have seen a lot of this collaboration happening last night at our Teacher of the Year event, which I know is going to continue to grow over the years, but that's where you see us coming together with the school's office and other divisions to help them succeed. And the hub has really been a critical piece of our internal communications strategy, and it was kind of in its infancy when I presented to you all last year, and we had just a few metrics. But if you take a look at year over year, from before we launched it as the hub to now, we have seen a 230% increase in the number of page views. So right now, we're getting about 660,000 intranet page views over the past year. And I'm an English major, not great with math, but I do know that if we have about 1,000 employees, that averages to about 660 views a year per employee, which I think is pretty strong. And the reason they appreciate the hub and go there is not just because it's their default when they log in the morning, but also because they can get video messages from the superintendent. We've also added technology resources. There are messages from human resources, upcoming events, employee recognition, and it's a chance for them to connect with their colleagues that they may not see every day. And a very visible way that we use digital media is to promote and cover events in our community, like the opening of Fortis Academy is a great example. We coordinated a well-attended groundbreaking and designed the school's logo and marketing collateral. And this project really shows our range of just community relations, logo development, event planning, marketing, media relations, design. All of those areas were hitting on all cylinders when we prepared for and executed that event. And it doesn't stop there. We're continuing to document all of the progress that's happening at Fortis to use just in storytelling down the road. Now, all of these digital advances will mean very little if you don't have good relationships. And so our team works really hard to build a positive rapport with the media in our community. And that's not just the most visible ones like the Houston Chronicle. A lot of it, we get a lot of great traction on our community impact magazines and smaller publications. And so we distributed 104 press releases and media alerts last year. And we also created our own posts so that we could tell our own story with 141 blog posts on our news blog. And oftentimes those posts get picked up by different community news outlets, and that just expands our reach. It helps fuel our social media posts because we can share those posts there. And these are just some highlights from the past year in media. You'll remember we got a lot of positive coverage of Fortis Academy. We also had some of our employees as experts on different back-to-school programs. One of them, I believe, was KHOU's Facebook page. They did a live stream, and to date, those videos have gotten like 20,000 hits, which is pretty good for a Facebook video. And so I will end on another quote that I really like. You move what you measure. And so one thing that we have been doing consistently is we measure all of our social media channels, our website, our intranet, and we talk about those metrics. And that helps us make informed decisions. And so even though you're seeing just a gradual increase, it's going in the right direction. We've added about 1,500 followers to those main channels over the past year. And an even deeper metric is when you look at engagements. So we've had 1.1 million impressions, and that's the number of times our content was displayed in social media, and 22,400 engagements. That's the number of interactions that people had with our content. And those are very impressive numbers. And so those are just some of the social media related highlights over the past year. I wish I could cram more into this presentation, but I wanted to focus on that. I'm happy to answer any questions you may have.
Questions?
Not a question, just congratulations on moving HCDE into the 21st century, to you and your team. And I always try to like those Facebook posts too.
Yes, we appreciate that. All of the trustees who interact with us on social media, you're really opening up our world to your followers as well. So we do appreciate that very much. Thank you.
I'll add to that. I like them, and I try to forward them as well.
Yeah, and please follow the superintendent on Twitter. He needs to get some more followers. And maybe retweet him a little bit.
He has a Twitter account?
Yeah, he does.
So Ms. Langlois just said, you tweet? And so I actually have an invisible Twitter person who handles that, who is Helen.
It's classified.
Say something. Do we have sound for her? Hang on.
Sorry, I was on mute. Hello, can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Yeah, we got you now.
Okay. Thank you, Helen, for the presentation. I have a comment and a question. The social media comment is I love all the pristine videos, very high quality. I would like to see a little bit of attempt to do Facebook Live, whether it's Q&A or previewing events, and then you can post your beautiful video later after you've edited. People really like that, Facebook Live. My question is, can you speak a little bit about your work with more diverse media, neighborhood newspapers, minority-owned media? You do a great job with some of our big media, but I would like to know about that.
We do include them in the media alerts and the press releases that we send out, and we will occasionally reach out to individual community papers if we feel an item would be of interest with them, but I believe that's an area that we can improve on. And to your point about the Facebook live stream, we are going to be trying that at the GED graduation ceremony, and so I would encourage people to, if you can't make it to that event, you can tune in and watch it live on our stream.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, we now have a report, other reports from board members concerning attendance or participation in a board or HCDE related conference, event, activity, or committee, accolades for an HCDE staff member or other deserving person. I'd like to start with, I was at the walkthrough for the Fortis Academy, and I think Don Sumner was there, and Michael Wolf was there. So as we walk through, it's really evident of how much forethought went into it. It's really going to be a really nice facility, and it's going to be an addition to the children and the community of Harris County, because it's going to give them an opportunity to do their recovery and not have to experience an even more harsher environment. So I do appreciate everything you're doing, and it looks very nice. Anybody else? Thank you. Trustee Carter, unmute yourself.
No, I'm going to get the hang of this.
That's okay. I'm going to miss you too, so I apologize.
President Evans, I just wanted to thank you for allowing me to participate via our new board policy remotely. So we are making history, and I appreciate the tech team, the help desk, Jamie Salinas, and his team for making it possible. So I want to give them kudos. And I was able to participate in the All Earth EcoBot and see all the wonderful students and their robots. Can you hear me? STEM education. And so I really want to congratulate all those that were involved. Thank you.
I just want, on top of that, just so you know, Trustee Carter is actually across the ocean. I believe, is it Dubai or Saudi Arabia? Where are you at?
Saudi Arabia.
Saudi Arabia. So she's probably a few hours later than us too, or earlier, whichever. So, all right, thank you. So we have a report from the Board Feasibility Subcommittee. Don Sumner.
Yes, as previously mentioned, the board immediately preceding this meeting had a presentation by the architects for the new ABS West campus that's going to start construction here very soon. I was very pleased. I think the design was well thought out and fits the site perfectly, and I was quite impressed. So we will be moving on very soon with the construction of that school.
Got to add to that, we saw something that I know our superintendent was very impressed with. They have had a video, or actually like a virtual reality of the school, where you could go through, walk the hallways of the school, go into classrooms, go into offices. So it was really quite nice. Hopefully they'll get a copy of that and we can post it on the web and let other people see what a really neat place we have.
That's a good idea.
Okay. Thank you, Don. All right, so now we're going to do monthly financial reports through 4/30 of 2018. Dr. Amesqua, you're up.
Okay, you have the financial highlights and the information in your packet. Our information is posted on the website. Our highlights for interim financial reports of April 30th, and also budget amendment for May 2018. Trying to navigate here which is best to click, because this is a PDF. Our balance sheet as of April 30 is $41,069,444. Liabilities of $1,918,467. Fund equity of $37,716,564, and appropriated fund balance of $1,434,413. Our fund balance as of April 30th, with the different types of fund balances: non-spendable, restricted, committed, assigned, and unassigned, totaling to $26,688,074. Next are for financial ratios. First one is the percent of fund balance to general fund expenditures ratio. We're at 51%, whereas last year we were at 43%. We're budgeted to end the year to be at 18%. Working capital ratio, we're at 39%, same as last year, budgeted to end the year at $15 million. Unassigned fund balance ratio, we're at 40%, compared to last year, we're at 37%, budgeted at 64% to at the end of the year in August. Debt to income ratio, we're at 7% compared to 5%, budgeted at 6% for the end of the year. Total tax revenue to the total revenue ratio, we're at 33% versus last year at 28%. We're projected to end the year at 21% in August of 2018. Indirect costs, we're at 2% and budgeted at 3% for the year. Fee for service ratio, we're at 23%, a little bit ahead from last year at 21%, and we're looking to end the year at 21% budgeted at the end of the year. Fee for service revenue growth, some of our revenues early in the year due to Harvey are lagging a little bit, minus 5%, 9% last year, and we're looking at ending the year at 5%. After all, 100% of the year will come in. Our fund balance activity the last few months, we are from September through February and March and August, we didn't have any amendments. Revenues, we're at 82% in the general fund, 64% overall at the end of the month. And we are $66,757,000 received in bill as of April 30th versus $103 million in the budget. These are our amendments every month. We're at now $119,789,331 and revenues of $103,684,846. Differences are our grants, the difference in the timing of our grants when they come in. Expenditures, we're 57%, which is well below, about 10% below our expenditures. So overall, we're at 56%. So as some of our revenues may be lagging, but our expenditures are also not, we're not spending in the same pattern as we did in the past. So we're at about 10% below our expenditure projection for the year. Our donations report for the year, we're at $140,865, $8,123 in cash, and $132,741 in kind. This last month, we received donations from Head Start, Research and Evaluation, Scholastics, CASE, and High Point Schools East. Our property values, we're at 436, and it should say B, not M. It should say with a billion. 436 billion, that's where we're at as of April. And we have still 1.4 billion to be reviewed by the appraisal review board. So going into the new year, that 436 billion is looking at that it's going to start for the new year, and so we're projecting that number to be higher in the new fiscal year. So that's just a comparison of where we're at between the beginning of the year. Year-to-date collections, we're at 22,124,240. 99% of the budget has come in already. 98% of the overall. The only one that is lagging a little bit is the delinquent tax, which is where we had to pay some refunds as a result. Some of the property owners that large property owners that filed for some refunds. So we have paid year-to-date HCAD fees, $123,003. Tax office fees, $443,389. Disbursements for the month were 597 checks, 505 transactions, and 6 transfers, totaling to $3,874,181. The detail of all the transactions in the check register are posted on our website and are also a part of your packet. Segment divisions, education certification, profitability variance, we're at minus $267,043. Records management holding at minus $20,979, very close to even. School-based therapy services, again, it is a subsidized division at $854,431, and then our schools at $36,790. Our Choice Partners Cooperative, it's at the 58% ratio at this time, and they have provided to general fund So far, $1,949,683. And still we have, bless you, we have 4 months left into the year that we will see more coming from choice. Our budget amendments for the month are in general fund, $173,200, and capital projects of $206,000. The $206,000 is for Fortis Academy. We're moving some monies from the maintenance to the Fortis account to for some of the equipment at Fortis Academy. And then we have some additional $80,000 for records management, some additional work that the records management receives. So they're going to be doing a lot of digital work there, and they're going to receive additional for $80,000 in revenues, and they need to be able to spend some contracted services to be able to provide that service to the clients. AB East, additional revenue, $3,200, and ABS East as well, $90,000 in additional contracts. So we're amending the budget to be able to recognize that revenue and that expenditure for the rest of the year. And capital projects, amending the $206,000. That's the money coming in from a transfer between accounts for the Fortis project. Construction update in the PFC. We had a PFC meeting earlier today. I will just basically go over the PFC timetable where the approval method of construction was approved to move forward per Chapter 2269. The next time we will, once we get the plans, we'll go out to for bids and proposals, and then we'll bring back to the PFC for approval. Questions on the first report, the interim financial report as of April 30th?
Can we go back to the divisions there, the profitability of the?
Sure. That one?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
The educator certification and professional impact, what does that all entail? Is that the HCDE? Alternative certification. We have some additional revenues that need still to come in the summer and in the later in the year, so that some of that we should correct later in the year. But it is this educator certification and principal certification academies that we have. So that has nothing to do with the actual teaching of teachers, the professional development, right?
No.
So that's strictly
Just the
teacher or present certification?
right. Alt-cert, yes.
Seems like we're struggling on that. What about the records management?
Records management, we budgeted about $15,000 to $20,000 to be subsidized for school districts. It is running pretty close to even, records management. So that will be adjusted, and we'll probably end up with a positive number in records management.
Did you say you were going to transfer $80,000 to them?
Yes, because they had an additional client, or rather request to do digital scanning for the records. And so that they're going to bring in another $80,000, so that should help alleviate some of that $20,000. So, the next report that it's continued now, and is our investment report. Our portfolio is $36,761,080. Our general fund is $36,179,027. The leave retirement, $542,474, and agency funds of $39,581. Total invested of $36,761,080. Our interest rates continue to go up, and so we're climbing the interest rate hike by keeping all our money short, and so we'll be able to take advantage of those interest rates as they start moving up. Our book value is basically the same as the market value because it is very short. And everything in our portfolio, it's basically overnight, so we're able to bring in the money should we need that for outlays. We're going to begin to extend and ladder our portfolio so as to take advantage of increased interest rates. However, as the interest rates go up, our valuation may, our book to market will probably deviate in the future as we get more aggressive in our investments. And so just FYI, right now booked and market are the same, but as we start extending, yes, we'll earn more interest, but you will see whether if the market continues to go up, our value of our investments are going to go down. That doesn't mean we're going to have a loss. It just means that that's the valuation that we will see in the future. Interest earnings year to date is our $44,206 for this month, and year to date we're at $213,421. That's positive news because last year we had I want to say a whopping $10,000 in interest earnings last year. So we're already at $213,000 this year in our interest earnings. And we're projecting in the new budget to be a little higher than that because our interest rates are going to be higher here in the new. We're at 1.66, and Mr. Sumner, you had asked me that question earlier today. We're about 2 basis points below what the PFC bonds are at 168. And so once we get above 168, we'll hit arbitrage, and we'll need to start segregating that in the PFC. But here in the general fund, you will see that all of that will go into the general fund. The PFC, we have $10,870,510. Again, that is the amount available for the AB West, and we heard earlier today about how much money available for that project, and that's available in our investment. And everything is pretty much overnight at this point in time. I wanted to share one. I don't think I have the slide, but our interest rates have gone from 0.010 or 0.10 to now 1.6. So that's where we're at today. Any questions on our monthly report?
Anybody have any questions?
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. We'll now go to action items consensus. Do I have a motion?
Second.
Do I have any reservations? Nobody has any reservations. So I have a motion by Dr. Troutman and a second by Dr. Moore. Do I have any discussion? All in favor, please raise your hand. Motion passes unanimously. Okay, that's 6-0. That's ever happened.
Just shorten this meeting. Let's keep going before someone goes back.
Okay. Okay, action items, non-consensus. So for 7A, consider the approval of change order number 1 to master job order contract with Facility Sources effective 3/1/18, Choice Partners RFP 16/054JN-4 in the amount of $148,643.97. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Got a motion by Mr. Dick. Got a second by Dr. Troutman. Well, I have a question, so might as well the Choice Facilities folks, where you at? What do y'all need to get up here? Got a question for you. Hi, Jeff.
Hey, how are you doing, Mr. Evans?
I'm all right. Well, you know, this is the month of May, and you're asking me to approve it for the month of March. My time machine's broke, so why are we doing it 2 months late? I got a problem with that.
The main contract, the master job order contract was effective March 1st, not the change order. The change order will be effective today once you approve it.
But that's not what it says.
And that's my fault because I wrote the item.
Okay, you're off the hook. It's her problem.
Full responsibility, back the bus up.
Thank you, Jeff.
I wanted to make it clear which job order contract with Facility Sources this was, and it's the one that's effective March 1st, so I apologize if that's confusing. That's where the March 1st is coming from.
And so
it's from the main contract.
So how it should read then that this goes into effect May 1st?
The change order I think the actual contract has the effective date as of, I think, tomorrow.
Today. It'll be after the board approves.
Right.
All right. Does anybody else have any heartburn besides me then? Okay, all in favor, please raise your hand. Okay, motion passes unanimously, 6-0. To consider the approval of the purchase of commercial kitchen equipment for the culinary arts teaching classroom at Fortis Academy with A-Smart. And this is going to be in the amount of $189,304. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Got a motion by Mr. Dick. Do I have a second? Got a second by Dr. Troutman. Do I have any discussion? Yes, ma'am. Trustee Carter.
Yes, thank you. I know you do a lot of research. Could someone describe who we consulted with on this equipment? Like how do we know this is sufficient for the program, the culinary program we plan to have? Are we modeling it after an existing program in our county?
Yes, I think your question is how are we modeling the program? The program has gone through an architectural and consultant who helped the architect put this program together. Then through the process of reaching out to our vendors, we did do price comparisons on a number of items. And at the end, A-Smart became the vendor that we worked with, who has helped us through many different challenges that we've had with this project. And that's how we did that.
That wasn't exactly what I meant by the question. Who in the culinary industry did we work with so that we know what we're putting in our commercial kitchen is sufficient for what we're trying to teach the students?
Yes. Okay. Your Miss Thomas, who is our culinary educator out there, has had extensive involvement in this. We have also had our consultants who put these programs together. We have visited a number of sites like Humble and other districts to ensure that in the planning of this program, that it would meet the educational process that Fortis has designed for the culinary program. So that's how we put this together. We've been through a lot of reviews with our staff out there to make sure that this matches the educational program delivery for culinary programs, hospitality for Fortis Academy.
Thank you.
Anybody else? The only thing that you and I talked about, you got to come up with something to where you're going to put your old grease when you get through with it.
Yes, sir. I have 3 items that I'll get back to you on.
I appreciate that. Anybody else? Okay, all in favor, please raise your hand. Okay, motion passes 6-0. And consider approval of renewal option for job number 16/031LB for auditing services for HCDE with Whitney Penn LLP for the period of 7/19/18 to 7/18/19. And approval of audit contract for FY 2018. Do I have a motion? A motion by Mr. Dick. Do I have a second? Second by Dr. Troutman. Do I have any discussion?
Yes.
Mr. Sumners.
Has there been any change to the engagement letter from last year?
No, we've added a potential additional services for creating of the CAFR, should we need that. But other than that, it's the same.
Okay, thanks.
Mr. Muska, Dr. Muska?
Yes, sir.
Are you comfortable with what we're doing?
Yes, sir.
That's all I need to know. All right. Do I have any other questions or discussion? Okay, all in favor, please raise your hand. Motion passes unanimously, 6-0. Consider approval of $2,106,360 request to the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services for continued funding of HCDE Early Head Start. This will go from the expansion grant from 9/1/2018 to 8/31/2019. Got a motion by Dr. Troutman.
Second.
Got a second by Mr. Dick. Do I have any discussion? All in favor, please raise your hand. Okay, motion passes 6-0. Okay, we're going to do 7E. Consider approval to submit a $794,017 non-federal share waiver request to the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services for Early Head Start expansion and Early Head Start Child Care Partnership Program in fiscal year 17-18. Okay, do I have a motion?
So moved.
Got a motion by Mr. Dick. Got a second by Dr. Troutman. Do I have any discussion?
Yes.
Mr. Sumner.
Can somebody explain about this? Thank you.
Good afternoon. We are requesting a waiver for the match portion, because with Early Head Start, we have been challenged with garnishing all of the 20% from the community. We're working with a much smaller group of children and also with partners. And while we exceed the in-kind match for Head Start, it's very challenging across the nation, not only with us, but across the nation with our infant toddler program. Additionally, we got about $1 million worth of additional funding. If we had just had our regular grant, we would have been able to hit our goal, but the additional $1 million, which has over almost 700,000 of that is towards building the facility, which we cannot garnish in-kind on that because none of those services are free or reduced.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, ma'am. Dr. Troutman.
Benita, for our visitors' sake and others, would you explain about in-kind and what that would be? And I noticed on our budget today when Dr. Amesco was going over it, we had 6 figures worth, but it's not always money. Just if you would explain that.
So we are required to have a 20% match for the Head Start grant, which means they give us 80% of the money to run the program. We're required to, from the community and partners, to bring in the rest of that. Sometimes that's through volunteerism, whether it's parents or we work with like the library and different professionals who may come in and provide free training or reduced training. If we use space and we don't have to pay the full price, then we're able to document the portion that we would have had to pay for in-kind. So we're required to go out in the community and bring in 20% of the overall cost of doing our program.
Well, I think Ted Cruz helped you there from his visit, didn't he? With reading to the students. No.
Say again?
No. Did we get any?
Yeah, that was a joke. Never mind. All right, thank you. Okay, any other questions? All right, all in favor, please raise your hand. All opposed? All abstaining? So the motion passes 6-0-1. Okay, consider nominating or endorsing an individual to fill a position on the TASB Board of Directors, Region 4, Position C. This position is currently held by Tony Hopkins, Friendswood ISD. Hopkins indicated he will be seeking re-election. The term of this position is for 3 years, beginning at the close of the 2018 annual TASB convention and expiring after convention 2021. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Okay, and do I have a second? I'll second it. Let's have a discussion. Okay? All right, so are we interested in either nominating somebody or endorsing this individual, or do y'all just want to just move on? What is the board's will in this particular one? Dr. Troutman.
As I recall, I think the last time this came up, we agreed, that wasn't really our business. But, I don't know this person. I don't see anything to document,
I got a letter that basically just addressed, or an email addressed to me asking for us, or letting us know this. It wasn't anything even asking for it. It was just letting us know this had come up, which is why I put it on the agenda, because I wanted you guys to know about it. Yes, sir.
Was any board member familiar with this person?
I'm not.
I mean, since we don't know him, I'd move that maybe we pass this. If he wants to come and talk to us, then maybe we might change our mind, but I don't see any reason in supporting anybody I don't know.
I agree with Dr. Trotman. I don't think we should be doing this, and especially with someone we don't know.
Okay, y'all want to just withdraw the motions at this point?
I will.
Okay, they're withdrawn. We'll pass on this one. Okay, we're going to go to 7G. That was an addendum we have. Okay, this is consider acceptance of the notice of award from the Department of Health and Human Services Administration for children and families for the Area 1 Head Start Division. This is in the amount of $6,124,081. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Okay, got a motion by Mr. Dick, second by Dr. Troutman. Do I have any discussion? Okay, all in favor, please raise your hand. Motion passes unanimously, 7-0. Okay, consider approval to purchase 100 Lenovo ThinkPad computers from CWG Choice Partners, job number 13068DG for the HCDE Adult Ed Division in the amount not to exceed $120,000, $120,495.50. That's going to be paid for with federal and state grant funds. Do I have a motion? Got a motion. Got a motion by Mr. Dick, a second by Dr. Troutman. Do I have any discussion? I have one. Where's our IT people? Oh, there's. Why Lenovo? Just curious.
Lenovo is kind of the standard we've been using for a number of years because of the reliability, the warranties that we're able to get. Lenovo is very much like Ford Chevy. You might be a Ford person, Chevy person. To be quite honest, there's a lot of really good equipment out there. So that's what we've been using. It helps for us to have a standard, so for repairs and for warranty.
Yeah, I'm just curious. $1,200 just seemed like a lot for that many laptops, but.
That also includes warranty, 3 years warranty.
Okay, so that's the laptops and the warranty. All right, thank you.
Yes, sir.
Anybody else?
By the way, I have one.
Okay.
I've been very happy.
Oh, you have a Lenovo?
Yes.
Okay. All right. So we have an unsolicited opinion. And it was positive. That was a good thing. All right, anybody else? Okay, all in favor, please raise your hand. Okay, motion passes 7-0. Consider approval to, oh, I already did that one, didn't I? For the next one then, we have another one, 7I. Consider approval of a grant submissions request to the Department of Health and Human Services Administration for Children and Families for HCDE area. One Early Head Start 2018 cost of living adjustment, COLA, in the amount of $53,465. This is for 9/1/18 to 8/31/19. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Got a motion by Mr. Dick, a second by Dr. Troutman. Do I have any discussion? All in favor, please raise your hand. Okay, motion passes unanimously, 7-0. All right, consider approval of contract award for job number 18/050KJ, contracted services for instructional support services to the proposers offering the best value to HCD and meeting the specifications outlined in the proposal. Corn Press, a Sage Company, Kristen Allen, and Voss and Associates. Okay, this is for the period of 6/1/18 through 5/31/23, subject to annual appropriations of funding. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Got a motion by Mr. Dick. Do I have a second? Second by Dr. Troutman. Do I have any discussion? Okay. All in favor, please raise your hand. Okay. Motion passes unanimously, 7-0. Under executive session, under the Texas Government Code pursuant to any and all purposes permitted by sections 551.001 through 551.084, including but not limited to 551.071. We are now in executive session. It is 2:30 p.m. All right, it is now 3:56, and we are now back in session. So the first thing on 9A is consider proposing non-renewal of a term contract employees Chapter 21 term employment contract for one or more reasons outlined in policy DFBB local, and determine whether any requested hearing on the proposed non-renewal will be conducted by the board or by an independent hearing examiner. Do I have a motion?
Yes, sir.
Oh, sorry. Go on, Mr.
Moore.
Thank you. Can you hear? Oh, good. I move to propose non-renewal of Keith Montgomery's Chapter 21 term contract for one or more reasons outlined in HCDE policy DFBB local as discussed in the executive session. Determined that any requested hearing on the proposed non-renewal of Keith Montgomery's term employment contract be conducted by an independent hearing examiner appointed by TEA, and direct the superintendent or his designee to notify Keith Montgomery of the board's decision in accordance with applicable law and policy.
I have a second. Motion by Dr. Moore, a second by Michael Wolf. Okay, any discussion? Barring none, all in favor, please raise your hand. Motion passes unanimously, 7-0. Number 9B has been pulled. We're going to move 9C to the next board meeting. So do I have any other motions?
Motion adjourn.
Okay, I have a motion to adjourn. Do I have a second?
Second.
Hang on. Hang on. Oh, I got something. Hang on. I forgot D&E. Well, I'm just going to blow right by that one. Okay. All right, so we're going to take 9D. Sorry about that. 9D, do I have a motion?
So moved.
Okay, we have a motion and we have a second. Do we have any discussion? This is the consider approval of the superintendent's recommendation to award non-Chapter 21 contracts. Okay, so any discussion? Okay, all in favor, please raise your hand. Motion passes unanimously, 7-0. Then we're going to look at 9E. Consider approval of superintendent's recommendation to award Chapter 21 contract for 2018-2019.
There you go, 19 to 18 teachers. You're doing 18 teachers.
Yeah, and if you look at on your list, it shows we're doing 19 teachers. It's really 18 teachers. We're changing that to 18. That's for AB East. Okay, do I have a motion?
Second.
Motion by Mr. Dick. I got a second by Michael Wolf. Any discussion? Okay, hearing none. All in favor, please raise your hand. Motion passes unanimously, 7-0. All right. Do I have anything else I'm trying to skip over? No. Now do I have a motion?
Motion adjourn.
Motion.
Second.
Hang on. Erica just said something. What'd you say?
Yeah. Yes. Who pulled? What did you say about 9C? Who pulled it? What do you say?
9C. We're just going to move it to the next board meeting. We're not pulling. We're not changing. We're not going to table it or anything. We're going to consider it in the next board meeting.
May 30th?
Okay. So we have a motion to adjourn. I have a second. All in favor? Motion passes unanimously. We are adjourned. It is now 4:03.